What happens when Britain's sharpest comedian walks onto a daytime talk show and gets ambushed by a panel host who thinks she can bully him into silence? In just 34 seconds, Denise Welch went from smug superiority to losing complete control as Ricky Gervais exposed her hypocrisy live on air, leading to the most explosive exit in loose women history. The studio lights were hot that morning as Ricky Gervais settled into the famous purple chair, surrounded by the loose women panel. Denise Welch sat at the head of the table, flanked by Nadia Sawalha, Kay Adams, and Jane Moore. The audience applauded as Ricky waved, his trademark grin already hinting at the chaos about to unfold. "So Ricky," Denise began, leaning forward with a pointed smile, "you've made quite a career out of offending people, haven't you?" The audience went quiet. Ricky's eyebrows raised slightly. "I've made a career out of making people laugh," he replied calmly. "If some people choose to be offended, that's their choice." Denise let out a sharp laugh. "Their choice? Really? So when you mock people's beliefs, their values, their identities, that's just them choosing to be upset?" Nadia shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Kay glanced between Denise and Ricky, sensing the tension building. "I mock ideas," Ricky said, his voice steady. "I mock bad ideas. I don't mock people for who they are. There's a difference." "Is there, though?" Denise shot back, her voice rising. "Because from where I'm sitting, you've built an empire on being cruel and calling it comedy," Jane Moore interjected softly. "Denise, maybe we should—" "No, Jane," Denise cut her off with a wave of her hand. "I think this needs to be said. Someone needs to hold him accountable." Ricky leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. "Accountable for what exactly? Making jokes? Last time I checked, that was my job." "Your job?" Denise's voice dripped with contempt. "Your job is to punch down at vulnerable people and hide behind the excuse of free speech," the audience murmured. Several people looked shocked at Denise's aggressive tone. "Punch down?" Ricky's calm was starting to show cracks. "Who exactly do you think I'm punching down at?" "Oh, let's see," Denise counted on her fingers dramatically. "Religious people, overweight people, people with different lifestyles than yours. Should I go on?" Kay tried to jump in. "I think what Denise is trying to say is—" "I know exactly what Denise is trying to say," Ricky interrupted, his eyes fixed on Denise. "She's trying to paint me as some kind of bully when she's literally doing that exact thing right now." Denise's face flushed red. "Excuse me? I am holding you accountable for your actions." "No," Ricky said firmly. "You invited me on your show to ambush me. You're not asking questions. You're making accusations." "Because someone needs to," Denise practically shouted. "You sit in your mansion, making millions from Netflix, mocking ordinary people trying to live their lives." Nadia finally spoke up. "Denise, I think maybe we're getting a bit heated here. Perhaps we should take a breath, and—" "I don't need to take a breath, Nadia," Denise snapped. "I'm tired of men like him getting away with saying whatever they want without consequences." "Men like me?" Ricky's voice had an edge now. "What does that mean?" "Privileged, rich, white, male." Denise listed each word like a weapon. "You have every advantage, and you use it to hurt people." The studio had gone deathly quiet. Even the camera operators seemed frozen. Ricky sat forward. "Right. Okay. So let me get this straight. You've decided that because of my gender and my race and my success, I'm automatically wrong? That's your argument?" "Don't twist my words," Denise warned. "I'm not twisting anything," Ricky replied. "I'm repeating exactly what you just said." Jane Moore tried again. "Look, I think we all need to just calm down and have a rational discussion about—" "There's nothing rational about what he does," Denise interrupted again. "He makes fun of people's weight, their appearance, their beliefs. How is that rational? How is that kind?" "Kind?" Ricky let out a short laugh. "Since when is comedy supposed to be kind?" Comedy is supposed to challenge. It's supposed to make you think. It's supposed to push boundaries. At whose expense? Denise demanded. At everyone's expense, Ricky fired back. Including mine. I make fun of myself all the time. The difference is, I don't expect special treatment. Denise's eyes narrowed. Special treatment? You think asking for basic human decency is special treatment? I think asking comedians to never offend anyone is impossible, Ricky said. And frankly, it's authoritarian. Authoritarian? Denise's voice went up several octaves. Did you just call me authoritarian for asking you to be a decent human being? Kay put her hand on Denise's arm. Maybe we should move on to another topic. Denise shook her off. No, I want to hear him explain how asking for respect is authoritarian. Because you're not asking, Ricky explained, his patience clearly wearing thin. You're demanding. You're telling me what I can and can't say. You're telling me what I can and can't joke about. That's not a request. That's a demand. Good, Denise exclaimed. Maybe someone needs to make demands. Maybe someone needs to tell you that you can't just say whatever hateful thing pops into your head. Hateful? Ricky's voice was incredulous. You keep using these words. Hateful. Cruel. Bullying. Do you have any actual examples, or are you just throwing out accusations? Denise leaned forward aggressively. Your entire last Netflix special was full of... Of what? Ricky challenged. Go on. Tell everyone watching what was so terrible about it. You know exactly. What you said, Denise hissed. No, I want you to tell me, Ricky insisted. You're the one making the accusations. Back them up. Denise's face was now bright red. I'm not going to repeat your vile comments on live television. Vile? Ricky laughed without humor. You've called me cruel, hateful, a bully, and vile in the space of 5 minutes, and you can't give me one single example of what I actually said that was so offensive. Nadia jumped in quickly. I think what's happening here is we have two different perspectives on what comedy should be. And this isn't about perspectives, Nadia. Denise cut her off sharply. This is about right and wrong. According to you, Ricky said quietly. According to basic human decency. Denise was almost yelling now. Whose definition? Ricky asked. Yours? Because from where I'm sitting, you've been nothing but indecent to me since I sat down. The audience gasped. Several people started clapping, which made Denise even angrier. How dare you? Denise seethed. I have been perfectly civil. Civil? Ricky's eyebrows shot up. You've accused me of being cruel, hateful, a bully, vile, and you've made it clear you think I'm a bad person because of my gender and race. That's your idea of civil? Jane Moore nodded slightly, clearly agreeing with Ricky but trying not to show it. Denise pointed a finger at Ricky. Don't you dare try to make yourself the victim here. You're the one with the power. You're the one with the platform. You're the one causing harm. What harm? Ricky demanded. Show me. Give me one concrete example of harm I've caused. You make people feel unsafe, Denise shouted. Unsafe? Ricky looked genuinely confused. From jokes, words make people unsafe? Yes, Denise insisted. Your words have power and you use them irresponsibly. Ricky leaned forward. How exactly do my jokes make people unsafe? They create a culture of mockery, Denise said. Which communities? Ricky asked. Be specific. Denise waved her hand dismissively. You know which ones. No, I don't, Ricky pressed. You're making vague accusations. I want specifics. The audience was completely silent now. You make jokes about weight, about appearance, Denise said. I make jokes about my own body all the time, Ricky replied. Should I not laugh at myself? That's different, Denise said quickly. How? Ricky asked. Denise fumbled for words. Because you're making fun of yourself. But I thought body jokes were harmful, Ricky questioned. Or only when directed at others. You're twisting my words again, Denise accused. I'm following your logic, Ricky corrected. And it doesn't hold up. Kay jumped in. I think what Denise might be trying to say is that there's a difference between self-deprecating humor and humor at someone else's expense. You can laugh without being cruel, Denise insisted. Give me an example of a joke I've made that was cruel, Ricky challenged. Denise's face flushed again. I'm not going to repeat your offensive material. Because you can't remember any, Ricky said. You're arguing against a version of me that exists in your head, not the real me. I know exactly who you are, Denise said coldly. Do you? Ricky asked. Have you ever met me before today? Or have you just decided based on headlines and outrage tweets? Denise didn't answer. Jane Moore spoke up. I've actually watched Ricky's specials, all of them. And while I don't always agree with everything, I've never found him to be cruel. Provocative? Yes. Challenging? Absolutely. But not cruel. Denise turned on Jane. So you're defending him now? I'm being honest, Jane said calmly. Nadia nodded. I think we need to separate not liking someone's comedy from claiming they're actually causing harm. Denise looked betrayed. I cannot believe you're all siding with him over me. We're not siding with anyone, Kay said gently. We're trying to have a balanced discussion. Balanced? Denise scoffed. There's no balance when one person is spreading hate. There's that word again, Ricky said. Do you even know what real hate is? Because jokes don't qualify. Your jokes normalize harmful attitudes, Denise said. Which attitudes? Ricky asked. Spell it out. Attitudes of superiority, of looking down on people who are different. So anyone who disagrees is looking down on people? Ricky questioned. That's absurd. It's reality, Denise insisted. Whose reality? Ricky asked. Mine is different. I respect everyone's right to live however they want. I just reserve the right to make jokes. And what if your choices hurt people? Denise pressed. Then they can choose not to watch, Ricky replied. Simple. That's not good enough, Denise said. Why not? Ricky asked. Why can't you avoid things you don't like? Because other people might see it, might be influenced. Ah, Ricky said. So this is about protecting other people from ideas you don't approve of. From harmful ideas, yes, Denise confirmed. And who made you the arbiter of harmful ideas? Ricky asked. Denise's jaw clenched. Someone has to stand up. For censorship? Ricky challenged. You're trying to get me kicked off this show for expressing opinions you disagree with. That's different, Denise insisted. How? Ricky asked. Because you're spreading hate, Denise repeated. And we're back to that, Ricky sighed. You keep saying I'm spreading hate, but you can't give me one concrete example. My words have power because people choose to give them power, Ricky countered. But here's the thing, Denise. Your words have power too. And right now, you're using them to attack me without any evidence, without any examples, just pure emotion, an accusation. Kay tried once more. I think we're going in circles here. Maybe we should... Let him finish, Denise snapped. I want to hear him try to defend himself. Defend myself? Ricky shook his head. I'm not defending myself. I'm pointing out your hypocrisy. You claim I'm a bully while you're actively bullying me on live television. I am not a bully, Denise screamed. The studio went silent again. Even Denise seemed shocked by her own outburst. Ricky spoke softly. You've shouted me down. You've interrupted your colleagues. You've made personal attacks. You've refused to listen to anything I've said. What would you call that? Denise's jaw clenched. I would call that standing up for what's right. By being wrong? Ricky asked. I'm not wrong, Denise insisted. Then prove it, Ricky challenged. Give me one example. One joke. One line. One thing I've said that justifies this level of hostility. Denise opened her mouth, then closed it. She looked flustered. Caught. Nadia gently tried to help. Denise, maybe if we just took a step back and... I don't need to prove anything to him, Denise said, her voice shaking with anger. Everyone knows what he's like. Everyone knows the kind of things he says. Everyone? Ricky questioned. Or just you and people who already decided to hate me before watching anything I've done? I've watched your specials, Denise said through gritted teeth. All of them? Ricky asked. Enough of them, Denise replied. Which ones? Ricky pressed. I don't need to list them for you, Denise snapped. Because you haven't watched them, Ricky said simply. You've watched clips, out of context, shared by people who want to be outraged. That's not true, Denise protested. Isn't it? Ricky tilted his head. Because if you'd actually watched my specials, you'd know that I make fun of myself more than anyone. You'd know that I punch up way more than I supposedly punch down. You'd know that the whole point of my comedy is to challenge lazy thinking. Lazy thinking? Denise repeated, her voice dangerously quiet. Yes, Ricky confirmed. The kind of thinking that says someone is automatically bad because of their race or gender. The kind of thinking that says words are violence. The kind of thinking that demands everyone conform to one person's definition of acceptable. Denise stood up abruptly, her chair scraping loudly. I don't have to sit here and be lectured by you. You invited me here, Ricky reminded her, staying seated. This was your idea. And it was clearly a mistake, Denise said coldly. Jane Moore looked alarmed. Denise, we're still live. I don't care, Denise said, her voice shaking. I will not give a platform to someone who spreads hate. What hate? Ricky asked again, his voice calm but firm. You keep saying that word, but you won't tell me what you mean. You know what you've done, Denise accused. No, I don't, Ricky said, because I haven't done anything wrong. I've told jokes. That's it. I've made people laugh. Some people didn't find them funny, and that's fine. But that doesn't make me hateful. Denise turned to the producers off camera. Get him out. I want him off my show. The audience erupted in shocked murmurs. Kay's mouth fell open. Nadia looked horrified. Your show? Jane Moore said quietly. Denise, this is all of our show. I don't care, Denise repeated. I won't share a stage with him. Ricky stood up slowly. You don't have to ask me twice. I came here in good faith, thinking we'd have a conversation. Instead, I got ambushed by someone who's decided I'm evil without any evidence. Good faith? Denise laughed bitterly. You don't know the meaning of the phrase. I know it better than you, apparently, Ricky said, removing his microphone. Good faith means listening. It means engaging with ideas you disagree with. It means not shouting people down when they challenge you. I did listen, Denise protested. No, you didn't, Ricky said firmly. You talked over me. You talked over your colleagues. You made accusations, and when I asked you to back them up, you refused. That's not listening. That's performing. Denise's face went from red to purple. Get out. Get out now. Ricky held up his hands. I'm going. But before I do, I want everyone watching to understand something. This, right here, this is exactly what I talk about in my comedy. The idea that being offended gives you power. The idea that you can shut down any conversation by claiming harm. The idea that your feelings matter more than facts or reason or evidence. You're despicable, Denise spat. I'm honest, Ricky corrected. And that's what really bothers you. Not that I'm cruel or hateful or any of those things you called me. What bothers you is that I won't apologize for making you uncomfortable. I won't pretend that your outrage is justified. And I won't change who I am to make you feel better. Nadia was visibly upset now. Ricky, I'm so sorry this happened. Don't apologize for her, Ricky said kindly to Nadia. You've been nothing but professional. You all have. He nodded to Kay and Jane. Except for one person. Denise took a step toward Ricky. How dare you come on this show and insult me? I didn't insult you, Ricky said calmly. I defended myself against your insults. There's a difference. You called me a bully, Denise shouted. Because you were being one, Ricky said simply. And you're continuing to be one right now. A producer's voice could be heard off camera, trying to calm things down, but Denise ignored it completely. This is my show, Denise said, her voice shaking with rage. Mine. And I will not be disrespected on my own show. It's all of our show, Kay corrected quietly. Denise spun around to face Kay. Stay out of this. I can't stay out of it, Kay said firmly. We're all part of this panel, and you're making us all look bad. I'm making us look bad. Denise's voice went up another octave. He's the one who came here with his smug attitude and his condescending answers. Condescending? Ricky repeated. I've been nothing but patient. You've been the one attacking me since I sat down. Because you deserve it, Denise spat. The audience gasped again. Even some of the crew members looked shocked. Nobody deserves to be ambushed, Jane Moore said, her voice tight with disapproval. This was supposed to be an interview, not a trial. He needs to be held accountable, Denise insisted, her voice breaking. For what? Nadia asked, genuinely confused. For making jokes you don't like? That's not a crime, Denise. It should be, Denise muttered. What did you just say? Ricky asked, his voice dangerously quiet. Denise realized her mistake, but doubled down anyway. I said what I said. Some things shouldn't be joked about. Who decides? Ricky asked. You? The government? A committee of people who are perpetually offended? People with common sense and decency, Denise said. Like you? Ricky asked sarcastically. Yes, like me, Denise said, missing or ignoring the sarcasm. The same person who spent the last 15 minutes verbally attacking a guest on live television? Ricky questioned. That's your idea of common sense and decency? Denise's hands were balled into fists. Get security, she called out again, louder this time. Get him out of here now. I'm leaving, Ricky said, standing and carefully removing his microphone. You don't have to call security. Unlike you, I know when a conversation is over. Good, Denise said viciously. And don't come back. Don't worry, Ricky assured her. I wouldn't come back if you paid me. We did pay you, Denise shot back. Then I'll donate it to charity, Ricky said without missing a beat. I don't want money that comes with strings attached to someone's ego. Denise's face contorted with rage. How dare you? I dare because someone needs to, Ricky said, his voice calm but firm. Someone needs to tell you that being loud doesn't make you right. Being emotional doesn't make you right. And being convinced of your own moral superiority definitely doesn't make you right. Get security, Denise screamed, tears now streaming down her face. Jane Moore stood up. Denise, stop. This is getting out of hand. Stay out of this, Jane, Denise warned. No, Jane said firmly. I won't. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing all of us. You invited a guest on, and then attacked him for no reason. No reason? Denise whirled on Jane. Did you not hear the things he's said? The people he's hurt? What people? Jane asked. You keep saying that, but you won't give. Examples. Ricky's right. You're just repeating talking points. Denise looked betrayed. I can't believe you're taking his side. I'm not taking sides, Jane said tiredly. I'm pointing out that you've handled this terribly. Kay nodded in agreement. She's right, Denise. This wasn't a discussion. It was an attack. An attack? Denise looked around at her fellow panelists in disbelief. I'm trying to hold him accountable, and you're all defending him, We're not defending him, Nadia said gently. We're saying you went about this the wrong way. There is no right way to deal with people like him, Denise said bitterly. People like me, Ricky repeated. There's that phrase again. You don't see me as a person, Denise. You see me as a symbol, a representation of everything you think is wrong with the world. But I'm just a comedian. I tell jokes. That's all. That's not all, Denise insisted, wiping tears from her face. Your jokes have consequences. So do your actions, Ricky said. And right now, you're showing everyone watching exactly the kind of person you are. Someone who can't handle being challenged. Someone who thinks being loud makes you right. Someone who would rather shut down a conversation than engage with it. Denise pointed a shaking finger at him. You think you're so clever, don't you? So much smarter than everyone else. I don't think I'm smarter than everyone, Ricky said honestly. But I'm definitely smarter than this conversation. This isn't about ideas or comedy or free speech. This is about you needing to feel superior, needing to feel like you're on the right side of history. I am on the right side, Denise said, her voice cracking. History will decide that, Ricky said. But I'm pretty sure history doesn't look kindly on people who try to silence others. I'm not silencing you, Denise protested weakly. You literally just tried to have me removed from the building, Ricky pointed out. Denise had no response to that. She just stood there, shaking, tears running down her face, her makeup ruined. Nadia looked genuinely distressed. Denise, please, let's just end this with some dignity. Dignity? Denise laughed bitterly. There's no dignity in giving him a platform. Then why did you invite me? Ricky asked, genuinely curious now. Denise hesitated, and in that hesitation, the truth became clear to everyone watching. You wanted this, Ricky said, realization dawning. You wanted a confrontation. You wanted to go viral for putting me in my place. This was planned. That's not true, Denise said, but her voice lacked conviction. Isn't it? Ricky pressed. You had your talking points ready, your accusations lined up. You weren't here to have a conversation. You were here to perform outrage. I was here to hold you accountable, Denise said, but even she didn't sound convinced anymore. No, Ricky said, gently, almost kindly. You were here to make yourself feel important, to make yourself feel righteous. And when it didn't go the way you planned, when I actually pushed back instead of apologizing, you fell apart. Denise's hands were shaking. I want you gone. I'm already gone, Ricky said, walking toward the exit. But I'll leave you with this. The reason you're so angry isn't because of anything I've said or done. It's because somewhere deep down, you know I'm right. You know that demanding everyone think like you is wrong. You know that trying to control what people can say or think or joke about is authoritarian. And you know that this whole performance today was about your ego, not about protecting anyone. You don't know anything about me, Denise said, her voice breaking completely now. I know enough, Ricky said from the doorway. I know you invited me here to make yourself look good by making me look bad. I know you didn't expect me to push back. And I know that when I did, you couldn't handle it, because bullies never can. The silence in the studio was deafening. Even the audience seemed afraid to breathe. And here's the thing that really gets you, Ricky continued, his hand on the door. Despite everything you've said, despite all the accusations, and the name-calling, and the attempts to paint me as some kind of monster, I'm walking out of here with my head held high, because I know who I am. I know what I do. And I know that I've never claimed to be perfect or morally superior, unlike some people. Get out, Denise screamed, her voice raw and desperate. Get out now. Ricky gave a small wave to the shocked audience. Thanks for having me. Well, most of you anyway. As he disappeared through the exit, the studio remained in stunned silence. Denise stood shaking, mascara running down her cheeks. Kay and Nadia exchanged worried glances. Jane Moore looked directly at the camera with an expression that said everything. The audience didn't know whether to clap or stay silent. A few people started applauding, then more joined in, until nearly half the audience was clapping for Ricky, even though he was already gone. Denise turned on them. "Stop it! Stop clapping for him!" But the applause only grew louder. Some people even stood up. Denise looked at the producers again. "Cut to commercial. Cut to commercial now." But the cameras kept rolling, capturing every moment of her meltdown. "I said cut!" Denise shrieked. Jane Moore put a hand on her shoulder. "Denise, please, sit down." "Don't touch me," Denise yanked away. "You all turned on me. My own panel turned on me." "We didn't turn on you," Kay said softly. "We just thought you were being unfair." "Unfair?" Denise laughed hysterically. "He's the unfair one. He's the cruel one. Why can't you see that?" "Because he wasn't," Nadia said quietly. "Not today. You were." Those words seemed to break something in Denise. She collapsed back into her chair, head in her hands, sobbing openly. The other panelists looked at each other helplessly. The audience watched in uncomfortable silence, some people shaking their heads in disbelief at what they'd just witnessed. Kay reached out tentatively to comfort Denise, but Denise pulled away, still crying into her hands. "I think we need to go to commercial," Jane Moore said to the cameras, trying to salvage what was left of the show's dignity. But before they could cut away, the damage had already been done. Denise Welch had revealed herself completely. Her accusations without evidence. Her refusal to engage honestly. Her complete emotional collapse when challenged. And worst of all, her attempt to silence someone simply for disagreeing with her. The cameras finally faded to black, leaving the studio in chaos and Denise in tears.